How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to an update video for the Righteous Fire Juggernaut in Sanctum League. This is a character that I mentioned in the previous video that I would be making in our private league with a couple of buddies of mine. Currently, we are level 94. 53% to 95. I thought this would be a good time to show how the gear's looking, how the character's looking, how the progression has come so far. For gear, we are using a +1 fire spell skill gems and burning damage with crafted fire dot multi. A buddy of mine found this and I've been using it, and I don't know when I'll be upgrading it. We'll have to see when the essences of fear stack up. But for now, this is really, really good. Basically, I could spend 2 divines and multi-mod a scepter to get increased, like 60% increased fire damage with fire dot multi with fire spell skill gems. But I don't think that's worth 2 divines right now, so we're keeping this as is. My helmet, I do have an Elder helmet, but I haven't gotten any Essence of Horrors yet. So for now, we are just using this +2 socketed AoE gems. It's got a bit of life, a bit of chaos resistance, and it was actually a hybrid life, so we were able to craft life as well. For now, I don't really want to rely too much on the Eldritch implicits of a helmet, because Elder helmets cannot have Eldritch implicits. So for now, I just rolled with something that was decent and just kept it. We are using Dawnbreaker. Had a decent rolled one. We got it our first kill of Exarch, and we've been using it ever since. We were using Rise of the Phoenix that a buddy of mine found, but the Dawnbreaker definitely gives us more damage with that scorch enemies in close range when you block. And I should have gone over some of the links, but in our weapon we have our Flammability, Frostblink, Hex Touch setup. In our helmet we have our Fire Trap, Combustion, Trap and Mine damage, and Life Tap. That's why it's so great. With the +2 socketed AoE gems, it really makes up for it's really good temporarily until you get that Elder helmet with the Essence of Horror. So happy with this, actually. We're using Infernal Cry and Combustion support with Molten Shell in our shield. The only reason I'm doing this Infernal Cry with Combustion is because I actually have an unset ring, which is where I'm putting my Purity of Elements. But our amulet is our Dex and Int base, which we definitely need. It's got a bit of extra int on there. We've got +1 fire skill gems, lightning res, and I was able to craft life. Currently we have Arsonist allocated. It's cheap to do, so early on, really easy to get. And it's got tier 1 increased rarity of items, which isn't anything too necessary, but we're keeping it. This amulet will probably be what we end up anointing Charisma with first. I think that this amulet is going to be hard to beat in a SSF environment. So our left ring is an Amethyst ring with Dex, which we desperately need. Tier 1 life roll, tier 3 chaos res, tier 1 fire res, and we crafted increased damage. We made this by Harvest Reforging Chaos on this ring. So overall, pretty happy with this. Our other ring is an unset ring that we've been using for a while now. It hit a tier 1 life. We were able to craft regenerate 25 life per second, which is okay. But mainly it's good because this was an unveiled ring that we were able to unveil minimum frenzy charges and gain frenzy charge on kill. And it's got a tier 2 cold resistance. So overall, pretty happy with this ring as well. We have Purity of Elements socketed in there. Our chest piece is an armor base 6 link that we got from Change That Bind. We got Change That Bind, a stack of Change That Bind from the Kirak mission. Find the stack of divination cards in, I think, Cage map, or one of those maps that drops Change That Bind. It's actually pretty common to get Change That Bind from those find the stack of divination cards. But we crafted this, I think, with Essence of Greed probably, and we hit, the guaranteed life. We hit physical damage reduction, which is pretty good. We hit a cold res, which we'll take, and then we hit tier 3 regen flat life. So we had the open prefix, and we crafted the Gravicious physical damage taken from hits as fire and lightning. So overall, really happy with this chest. We were able to get the Eldritch Implicits to be Determination has 20% increased aura effect and +1 to all maximum resistances. Socketed in there, we have 2120 Righteous Fire. We got this in the first 6 Righteous Fires. We leveled, or 7 technically, counting the one I was using, in our offhands. And we hit a 2123, which I'm very happy with. And then we have Elemental Focus at 2020, Burning Damage at 2020, Life Tap at 2020, Efficacy at 2020, and Swift Affliction. I actually need to quality this. Our gloves that we're using were actually an ID that we came across. So it has a bit of, it's got the Hybrid Life and Armor, tier 1, tier 2 Life, tier 3 increased life regen, and tier 2 flat life regen. And we were able to craft +1 socketed AoE gems. So socketed in here, we have our Malevolence, Determination, Vitality with Arrogance. So we were also able to get good Eldritch Implicits on these gauntlets, inflicting fire exposure on hit and fire damage over time multiplier. So overall, pretty happy with these gloves right now. Our belt, sticking with an Immortal Flesh. I think I've found one early on. It was a min rolled. It was something like 205 life per second, and -25 to all elemental resistances. But Immortal Flesh is not too rare. So over the course of this league, a couple of my buddies have found them, and currently this is the best one that we came across. As for the boots, I think these were another ID that I ended up getting. Nothing too great, but also not really looking to invest too much in boots. I'm still IDing some boots when I come across them, but eventually Legacy of Fury is the goal. So when we kill Maven and some of my buddies start killing Maven, hopefully one of us comes across Legacy of Fury, and these will be replaced because no one else in our league needs Legacy of Fury. So the first pair that shows up, I'll be using. But for now, these have tier 3 life, tier 1% armor, crafted move speed, fire res, flat regen, lightning res, implicits of life regen, percent life regen, and percent movement speed. So overall, not bad. Socketed in there, we have shield charge, life tap. We're still using the stone golem when I can be bothered to respawn him, and faster attacks. As for the flasks, we're using Divine Life Flask that is the increased recovery rate, 50% applied instantly, but a bit 40% reduced amount recovered. We probably should upgrade this soon, but for now, we ID'd this in the campaign, and we've been using it ever since, and it grants immunity to poison. Our other flasks are Granite. We've got the 3 charges and regen life per second during effect. Use when charges reach full. We actually are running out of alts, so we ended up having the same thing on a Ruby Flask, because ideally we would have, this is the ideal Ruby Flask right here. Ideally on the Granite we would have armor, but the 3 charges is really good. We couldn't pass that up with only like 100 alts at the moment. So we also have a Quicksilver, 2 charges when you're hit by an enemy, 51 increased armor during effect, and we're using an Amethyst Flask. We need this reduced effect of curses. Unfortunately, we didn't get one with increased gain charges when you're hit by an enemy, but that's fine. We have a couple of flasks in here that we're working on. I have an 85 Quicksilver. I have an 85 Amethyst. And so we are working on alting those, but as you can see, only 176 alts at the moment. The character has progressed pretty well. It does pretty much all the mapping that I needed to do right now. We were able to kill the quest line Exarch and Eater bosses. Currently, we have 6 favorited map slots. We're favoriting Toxic Sewer, and we're pretty much going back and forth between Toxic Sewer and Grotto. We're able to sustain those pretty well with only 2 Void Stones and currently all of the shaping nodes. But our plan is to get our level up and then hopefully take down Cirrus and Shaper. And maybe even try to do a couple, maybe 1 or 2 more of our Maven 10 boss progress and get a chance to fight the Maven. I'm not sure about Uber Elder yet. I think the build can do it. And we do have a Shaper fight stored up, and we do have a good amount of Shaper maps and Elder Guardian maps. So you see we basically have a whole Cirrus fight here, a whole Elder fight, considering that I will be using Harvest to change the fragments into fragments that I need. And then we have Shaper fragments, and I also have all of these extra Shaper maps. Currently, the Atlas progression is 103 out of 115. We have a few maps and unique maps that we still haven't done, but in this group league, we're kind of saving our unique maps. Like I have an Olmex, I have a Malkoon, I have a Putrid Cloister. You know, a few of these maps that I have that I don't have completion on, I am waiting. We're kind of waiting to do them as a group. I've gotten 1 distant memory map so far. So we'll see if we can come across all those during this private league or not. So far, the Atlas tree, the Atlas passive tree is 111 out of 132. We're spec'd into Essence. We're spec'd into Harvest. We have all the shaping nodes. We are in the Kierak wheel in the middle. And we are in Searing Exarch, as well as Remnants of the Past for the Elder Guardian and Shaper Guardian maps. I like this tree for SSF. It definitely helps with the map progression and the map sustain, and Essences and Harvest are key to crafting your gear. So, pretty happy with it for now. We're blocking Abyss and Legion and Delirium. You know, I don't really have any use for Cluster Jewels. RF is not very good at Legion, and Abysses can just be annoying and not really worth it if you're not spec'd into them. We're still running Stream of Consciousness. It's great for SSF. We get so much content in our maps. But our plan is to get our level, do our Shaper maps, and get out of these, do our Shaper and Elder maps, and unspec these, and go into Vivid Memories for the Synthesis map until we get all of the Synthesis maps. We would like to be in Sextants as well, but at the moment, I just don't have enough points. And with only 2 Watchstones, I'm able to sustain, just barely, but I'm able to sustain Awakened Sextants from Exarch, putting them only on 2 Watchstones. Our goals right now are, of course, Essence of Horror for an Elder Helmet. 1 more Golden Oil, and we can allocate Charisma, which will be huge because I actually chanced, I was picking up chance bases at the beginning of this league, and I actually chanced a Sappho's Frame with pretty good rolls, 29 all LE res and 29% chance to block spell damage, both those only going to 30, even with 27% increased spell damage. So this is actually quite a nice Sappho's Frame that we would definitely look to get into as soon as we get Charisma anointed and make the switch to Tempest Shield. We do have all the Divine Vessels we would need to make that switch over to the Soul of the Brine King. But for now, we just need that 1 more Golden Oil. But I do have 5 Blighted maps from 13 to 16. And hopefully we'll be able to group up with some of the other guys in the league and increase those rewards from these Blighted maps and hopefully snag the last Golden Oil we need. A couple of things to show. I have this 4 migration tab, so the plan is to still go back to Trade League after this league ends, and whatever money we make, hopefully we've earned a Aureus End, or maybe even some of the gear we bring over will be upgrades to the gear we're using in Trade League. A couple of things here, nothing great. An Inspired Learning card, level 6 Awakened Support Gem card. We actually have 2 Einhart Memory of Harvest Beasts, which are quite expensive right now, priced at 1.7, 1.8, maybe 2 Divines. And then also we got an Intuitive Leap, actually from Tuko Hama in Act 6. Very surprised by that. This is worth about 2 Divines as well. So our Essence tab is also starting to fill out. Unfortunately, we've gotten a few Essence of Insanities and 1 Hysteria. Still waiting on that Horror. But yeah, that's pretty much overview of the character. Currently, we're sitting at 81, 79, 79 max res for Fire, Cold, Lightning res with 10 Chaos res. Our Righteous Fire tooltip is 358k with no life tap and no extra frenzy charges. And our Fire Trap is 188k without Righteous Fire active. But with Righteous Fire active, and let's say a life tap, that goes to 318k and 427k. I have this map prepared, so let's just run through this quickly, show off the build, and see. So Exarch has been great for getting our flask set up and sustaining our chisels. I know a lot of my buddies are not. That's a risky one to take. Physical is extra chaos for the map boss. It's actually has killed us before. Let's hope we do better this time. But I know a lot of my buddies are not chiseling the maps they are running. So that that's the main reason, chiseling and sexting all of our maps, even with only 2 void stones, seems worth it. You don't really get much from Eater, so I'm liking it for now. But I think that eventually we might switch between them, because Eater does have alterations, which would be nice to have some more alterations, especially for rolling some perfect flasks. I'm not really able to have enough alterations to do that right now. And some of the things from Exarch, after you've gotten them, such as instilling orbs or baubles or something like that, you don't really need them anymore. But for now, I'm giving away, you know, most of the instilling orbs to my friends who are a bit behind me in terms of progress. So you can see the map clearing is pretty good. When we get that Legacy of Fury, it'll be a lot better. But really, our Righteous Fire damage on this character is pretty much equal to the character we have in Trade League, looking at just the tooltip. And you can see these guys are a little risky, so just got to keep kiting them. And he's duplicated. But you'll see he takes a good chunk from us, even with our flasks up when he hits us with that physical as extra chaos. So just keep kiting this guy around, and we'll get a nice loot explosion from this one, I guess. Yeah, there it is. Not one we want to corrupt, but I have been corrupting a bit more, especially if there's not a shrieking in there, to try to get it to have a shrieking so we get that doubled essence. But we are sustaining the essences of corruption, remnants of corruption, quite easily. So clear this section, and we'll do this ritual. Maybe you've noticed my microphone sounds different. This is the first time I'm recording a video with it, so hopefully it sounds all right. I'm gonna listen back to this, and but these are kind of one-take videos, so it's probably going up as is. And if I need to make any changes, I'll adjust for next time. But so far, really enjoying the private league. Been a bit busy around the holidays, but getting back into the private league now. Gonna try Maven. My plan is to try Maven on this character at least once. But what I might actually do is level a Seismic Trap Saboteur, because we do have a friend who's playing Seismic Trap, and maybe before I fight Maven, level that up, and then in the case where I have, you know, 1 or 2 portals left, I might go in there on a Seismic Trap character with something like Culling Strike, and yeah, guarantee that I get that kill. Because it's going to be pretty difficult to get the Maven invitations in this league. So, many things good here, not so much. So this should be the end of this map right here. We'll take the rewards from the rituals. Oh, we get a Chaos Orb right at the end. That's unfortunate. But we've been sustaining chaos, and we've been able to also put on Fortune Favors the Brave on mostly all these maps. But there's more than 50 remaining. That's unusual for a Toxic Sewers clear. Oh well, we won't worry too much about it. Let's see if we get anything good from Ritual. We'll take a Crimson Jewel and Chisels, and then we'll re-roll. Fusings, I guess. Nothing great. Then we'll take the Whetstones. Why not? But yeah, that is a little progress update. This is a longer video than I expected, but I hope you guys liked this. If you did, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.